The scream ripped through the humid July air like a chainsaw through pine, freezing me mid-step on the cracked sidewalk of Elmwood High's back lot. "Jump, you freak. Nobody'd miss you anyway." The voice belonged to Tyler Hargrove, the quarterback with a jaw like a comic book villain, and it was aimed at Jamie, my secret crush, who teetered on the rusted railing of the old railway bridge over the churning Raccoon River. In that split-second heartbeat, as Jamie's sneakers slipped on the wet metal, I didn't think. I lunged, my backpack spilling textbooks into the mud like forgotten dreams. I'd always been the ghost in the hallways of Elmwood, Indiana. 6 feet of awkward limbs and a backpack embroidered with rainbows I hid under hoodies. The kind of kid whose coming out at 15 had earned me sideways glances and empty lunch tables. My name's Alex Rivera, and for 2 years, I'd perfected the art of invisibility. Head down, earbuds in, dreaming of the day I'd escape this cornfield purgatory for the neon pulse of Chicago or New York. But that afternoon, with the sun dipping low and painting the river in strokes of molten gold, invisibility shattered like glass under my Nikes. Jamie Ellis wasn't like me, or maybe he was too much like me. Quiet, artistic, with sketchbooks full of charcoal portraits that captured the ache in people's eyes. We'd shared English class since freshman year, trading furtive smiles over dog-eared copies of The Great Gatsby. But he'd never spoken more than a mumbled thanks when I passed him notes during Mr. Hargrove's, Tyler's dad, ironically droning lectures. I knew he was gay too. The whispers slithered through the vents like smoke. Ellis is one of those, they'd say, the word laced with venom. And now, here he was, one wrong gust from becoming a statistic, a headline in the Elmwood Gazette. Local teen tragedy. My heart hammered as I sprinted the last 20 yards, gravel biting into my palms when I skidded to a halt. Tyler and his pack, 3 meatheads in Letterman jackets, loomed like shadows at the bridge's far end, their laughter a guttural roar that drowned the cicadas. "What's this? Rivera's playing hero." Tyler sneered, but his eyes flickered with something darker. Fear, maybe, or the hollow thrill of a bully cornered. "Jamie!" I yelled, voice cracking like thunder in my chest. He turned, wild-eyed, his dark curls plastered to his forehead with sweat, and for a moment, our gazes locked. His brown eyes wide with terror, mine burning with a desperation I'd bottled since the day I saw him doodle a heart around my initials in his notebook margin. The railing groaned under his weight, the river below a frothy beast hungry for secrets. I didn't wait for permission. Dropping to my knees, I crawled forward, the metal warm and gritty under my fingers, rusted flakes crumbling like old promises. "Give me your hand now." The words tore out of me, raw and commanding in a way I'd never heard myself speak. Jamie hesitated, his fingers trembling inches from mine, tears carving clean paths down his dirt-streaked cheeks. Behind him, the drop yawned, 30 feet of churning water, jagged rocks like teeth waiting to bite. Tyler's laugh died as I inched closer, the bridge swaying faintly under our combined panic. "Back off, fag. This ain't your business." But his cronies shifted uneasily. One of them, Brad, the one with the buzz cut and perpetual scowl, muttering, "Dude, what if he falls? We're so screwed." Jamie's lips moved, a whisper lost to the wind. "Why? You? Why me?" Because in the silence of empty bleachers, I'd watched him sketch under the stadium lights. Because his laugh in the halls was the only melody that made this town bearable. Because loving him from afar had carved a canyon in my soul deeper than this goddamn river. Our fingers brushed, electric, alive, and then locked, my grip iron despite the quake in my bones. "Pull," I grunted, hauling with everything I had, muscles screaming from neglected gym classes. He scrambled up, collapsing into me, our bodies a tangle of limbs and labored breaths on the narrow walkway. The world narrowed to the salt of his tears on my shirt, the frantic thud of his heart against my ribs. Tyler bolted first, his sneakers pounding retreat, the others scattering like roaches under a flashlight. Sirens wailed in the distance. Someone must have called it in. And as the first cop car crested the hill, Jamie lifted his head, eyes searching mine. You saved me." It wasn't a question, but a revelation, soft as the twilight settling over the fields. I helped him stand, our hands lingering a beat too long, and in that touch, something shifted. The invisible boy had become seen, the ignored a lifeline. But as the red and blue lights bathed us in their chaotic glow, I couldn't shake the chill that this was just the beginning. The bridge hadn't broken us, but the real fall was coming. The station house smelled like stale coffee and regret, the kind that clings to linoleum floors in small-town cop shops where dreams go to yellow. Officer Ramirez, a broad-shouldered Latina with a no-nonsense braid and eyes that missed nothing, led us to a vinyl couch in the waiting area, her notepad flipping like a judge's gavel. Jamie sat hunched beside me, knees drawn up, his sketchbook clutched like a shield. I'd retrieved it from my backpack, the pages damp but intact, a small victory in the chaos. "Tell me again, Alex," she said, pen poised. "From the top. What did you see?" I recounted it all. The taunts echoing from the bridge, Tyler's venomous shove. Not physical, but the kind that shatters resolve. The way Jamie's foot had caught on a loose bolt. Ramirez nodded, her gaze flicking to Jamie, who stared at the floor, tracing invisible patterns with his toe. "And you? Anything to add, kid?" He shook his head, voice a rasp. They said I was better off gone. That the world didn't need more like me." The words hung heavy, a confession wrapped in shame, and my chest tightened like a fist around my ribs. Like me, like us. In Elmwood, where the biggest scandal was Pastor Hale's sermon on traditional values, and the annual Corn Festival parade skipped the pride flags. Being gay wasn't just different. It was a target painted on your back. Ramirez sighed, closing her notebook with a snap that echoed like finality. "We'll talk to Hargrove and his buddies. Harassment like that? It's assault with intent. But you too, get some rest. Counselor's coming by tomorrow." She handed us each a card for the local hotline, her touch lingering on my shoulder. "Brave thing you did, Rivera. Real brave." Outside, the night air was thick with fireflies, pinpricks of light in the velvet dark. My mom waited in her beat-up Ford Taurus, engine idling like a worried heartbeat. She was a nurse at the county hospital, all scrubs and quiet strength. The single parent who'd hugged me tight the night I came out, whispering, "My boy's heart is big enough for two worlds." But tonight, her eyes were storms. "Alex, what the hell happened?" "School called. Said you were in a fight." "Not a fight, Mom. A save." I slid into the passenger seat, Jamie climbing into the back like a shadow. We'd insisted he come with us. His folks were out of town at some church retreat, oblivious as always to the war their son waged daily. Mom glanced in the rear view, her maternal radar pinging. "You okay back there, hon?" Jamie murmured a yes, but his reflection in the mirror caught mine. Haunted, grateful, something electric flickering beneath. The drive home wound through streets lined with sagging porches and American flags limp in the humidity. Past the diner where locals swapped gossip over pie. Past the high school football field where Tyler was king. Silence stretched, broken only by the hum of tires on asphalt, until Jamie's voice pierced it. "Why'd you do it?" "Risk everything for me." I twisted to face him, the dashboard glow casting his features in soft blues. "Because I've been there, staring down that edge in my head 100 times. And because," I swallowed, the words a leap bigger than any bridge. "Because you're worth it, Jamie. You always have been." His lips parted, a breath escaping like a secret finally freed. Mom cleared her throat, eyes on the road, but a small smile tugged her mouth. "Room for one more at dinner? I've got lasagna in the oven." That night, over plates of cheesy comfort food, the story spilled out in fits and starts. Jamie's isolation, the notes shoved in his locker calling him slurs I'd memorized from my own nightmares. The way Tyler's crew had escalated from whispers to this brink. Mom listened, her fork paused mid-air, then reached across the table to squeeze his hand. "This house is safe, Jamie. Always." He nodded, tears welling again, but this time they weren't alone. I felt them hot in my own throat. Later, as Mom cleared dishes, Jamie and I escaped to my room. A cluttered sanctuary of banned posters. The Killers, mostly. Dog-eared queer lit like Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. And a window overlooking the neighbor's cornfield. He perched on my bed, flipping through my bookshelf, fingers tracing spines like he was mapping a new world. "You read this?" He held up Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, the one about emails and hidden crushes. Cover to cover, twice. I sat beside him, close enough to smell the faint citrus of his shampoo. My pulse a drum solo. Made me think of you, actually. The way the guy hides, but his words. They shine through. He set the book down, turning to me, our knees brushing. A spark that lit the room. Alex, I've seen you. In class, in the halls. You're like this quiet storm. I wanted to say something, but I was scared. Still am. His hand found mine, tentative then sure, and in that clasp the world righted itself. Our first kiss was tentative, lips soft and seeking under the glow of my desk lamp, tasting of lasagna and unspoken promises. It wasn't fireworks. It was a hearth fire, warm and steady, chasing the chill from our bones. But as we pulled apart, breathless and beaming, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Stay out of it, hero. Or next time, it's you, Tyler. The threat slithered in, a serpent in our Eden, reminding me that bridges mended, but grudges in Elmwood festered like untreated wounds. The next week blurred into a tense rhythm. School admins suspending Tyler pending investigation. Whispers turning to stares as the gay rescue became locker room legend. Jamie and I navigated it hand in hand. Literally, our fingers laced in the cafeteria line, drawing glares but also a few nods from unexpected allies, like Lena from Art Club, who slipped us pride pins with a wink. Romance bloomed in stolen moments. Notes folded into origami hearts during chem lab, walks along the riverbank where we skipped stones and shared dreams. His of art school in Bloomington, mine of journalism in the city, both laced with us. Yet betrayal brewed beneath the surface, a undercurrent pulling at our fragile peace. It started with a rumor. Tyler's dad, Principal Hargrove, had pulled strings to lighten the suspension, painting it as youthful hijinks. Then came the whispers about Jamie's family. His mom, a devout deaconess, had been seen at church meetings, her face pinched, avoiding eyes. And me? Mom noticed my distraction, the way I jump at shadows. Alex, heroes don't carry the weight alone, she'd say over breakfast, her coffee mug steaming like unspoken worries. One evening, as Jamie and I picnicked under the old oak by the football field, blanket spread with PB and JS and his latest sketches, a shadow fell across us. Brad, Tyler's sidekick, loomed, hands shoved in pockets, his buzz cut gleaming under the stadium lights. Ellis, Rivera, look, man, Tyler's messed up. What happened on the bridge? It wasn't supposed to go that far. His voice cracked, eyes darting like a cornered animal. He's got his own shit. Dad's pressuring him for the scholarship, and you two? You're just easy targets. Jamie stiffened beside me, sandwich forgotten. Easy? That's what you call pushing someone to jump. Brad winced, rubbing his neck. I'm sorry. For real. Tyler, he talks big, but inside, he's scared too, of what people think. A confession hung there, raw and unexpected, hinting at fractures in the bully's armor. We let him walk away, the air thick with unease, but it planted a seed. Maybe redemption wasn't just for the saved. That night, as Jamie dozed against my shoulder on the couch, some rom-com flickering on TV, Mom pulled me aside in the kitchen. Alex, there's something I need to tell you. About your dad. Her voice trembled, a rarity that chilled me deeper than any threat. Secrets in Elmwood were currency, but family ones? They were dynamite. Mom's revelation hit like a freight train derailing in slow motion, the kind that scatters boxcars across endless tracks. We stood at the sink, her hands sudsy from dishes, mine gripping the counter edge until my knuckles blanched. Your father. He didn't leave because he wanted to, Alex. It was complicated. Her eyes, the same hazel as mine, shimmered with ghosts I'd never named. I'd grown up with the scraps. Dad bailing when I was 6, a vague story of chasing dreams in California. Child support checks that arrived like reluctant postcards. Mom had filled the gaps with her love, fierce and unyielding, but the hole lingered, a question mark etched in my DNA. What do you mean, complicated? I pressed, voice low so Jamie wouldn't stir. She dried her hands on a dish towel, folding it with precision like she was bracing for battle. He was, like you, Gay. We married young, thought we could make it work. Small town love, you know? But he couldn't hide forever. When he came out fully, it broke us. He left to protect you from the scandal. Said he'd send for you when things settled. But then, life happened. He built a new one out west. Partner, a career in tech. And you were thriving here, or so I thought. The words landed like stones in still water, ripples distorting everything. Dad, gay? The man in faded photos, grinning with a fishing pole, had carried the same secret I'd whispered to my mirror at 13? Why tell me now? I choked, betrayal's bitter tang rising. Because of Jamie. Because you're building something real and secrets. They poisoned that. I reached out to him last week after the bridge. Told him about you, the hero his son became. She touched my arm, soft as forgiveness. He's coming, next month, for the county fair. Wants to meet you, properly. I nodded numbly, the enormity crashing in waves. Pride warred with rage. Pride that Dad's blood ran true. Rage that he'd ghosted my coming out, my milestones. Jamie stirred then, padding into the kitchen with sleep-tousled hair, sensing the storm. Everything okay? His hand slipped into mine, an anchor in the churn. Just family ghosts, I murmured, pulling him close. We retreated to my room, where he held me as the dam broke, sobs muffled in his shirt, his fingers combing my hair like absolution. You're not alone, Alex. Not anymore. In the quiet after, we talked until dawn. His own family fractures, Mom's iron-fisted faith that bent but never broke him. The way love could be both cage and key. Our kisses deepened that night, not urgent but exploratory, mapping the contours of trust under the quilt my abuela had sewn. School ramped up the drama like a bad soap opera. Tyler returned Monday, swagger intact but eyes hollow, slinking past us in the halls with a muttered sorry that hung like smoke. The administration's slap on the wrist, a week's detention, fueled protests. Lena started a GSA club meeting in the library, flyers plastered with rainbow fists and quotes from Harvey Milk. Jamie and I attended, 20 kids crammed into folding chairs, sharing stories that wove us into a tapestry stronger than isolation. But the real conflict ignited at Friday's pep rally, the gym pulsing with bass and body paint, cheerleaders flipping under banners screaming, "Go Eagles!" Tyler was center stage, tossing a football to roaring approval. When the chant started, low at first, from the bleachers' nosebleeds, "Freak! Freak! Freak!" It spread like wildfire, aimed at us in the back row, Jamie's hand slick in mine. I stood, rage boiling over, voice cutting through the din. Enough! You want to cheer for heroes? Look at Jamie. He's got more guts than your whole team combined. The gym hushed, a collective inhale, Tyler freezing mid-toss on the court. His eyes met mine, not with hate, but a mirror of my own turmoil, shame reflected back. Chaos erupted. Teachers herding kids out. Principal Hargrove's face thunderous as he yanked the mic. Rivera, office. Now. Jamie squeezed my hand. I'm with you. And we marched down the echoing corridor, the weight of eyes like Judgment Day. In the office, Hargrove loomed behind his desk, photos of Tyler in trophies glinting like accusations. You think you're some white knight, boy? Stirring up trouble in my school. His voice was oil over gravel, but cracks showed, the tremor in his fist. Your son tried to kill mine. I shot back, the lie of possession bold on my tongue. Jamie's sharp intake beside me only fueled it. And you're covering for him because what? Afraid it'll tank his college apps. Hargrove's face purpled, but before he could erupt, the door swung open. Mom, flanked by Ramirez, who flashed a warrant-like glare. We need to talk about those hijinks, Principal. Assault charges don't vanish with a wink. The room tilted, power shifting like sand, and for the first time, I saw fear in the man's eyes. Not for justice, but exposure. We left unscathed, but the betrayal stung deeper. Hargrove's call to Mom later that night, pleading family to family, revealed his own skeletons. A brother lost to AIDS in the 80s, buried in silence. It humanized him, just a sliver, but enough to make the hate complicated. As summer bled into August, Jamie and I deepened. bike rides to the quarry, where we'd swim in the emerald water, bodies brushing underwater in innocent joy, stargazing on my roof, tracing Orion's belt like a promise. Romance wove through the mundane. His sketches of us now hung on my wall, a gallery of us against the world. But tension simmered. Tyler's texts escalated. Anonymous now. Watch your back. Lovers. The climax brewed on a stormy Thursday, thunder rumbling like distant artillery. I was biking home from the library, rain sheeting down when headlights blinded me. A pickup swerving from the county road, Tyler at the wheel, eyes wild with whatever demons Hargrove's pressure had unleashed. He fishtailed, tires screaming, straight toward a stalled car at the intersection. Jamie's mom's sedan, hood up, her and a hitchhiker. A drifter named Eli, scruffy and wide-eyed, huddled under an umbrella by the roadside. Time fractured. The truck's grill a maw of chrome death, Jamie's mom turning in horror, Eli frozen like a deer. I pedaled harder, yelling uselessly, then veered, body launching like a missile, slamming into the pickup's fender. Metal crumpled. Pain exploded in my shoulder, but it jerked Tyler's path just enough. The truck grazed the sedan, spinning out into the ditch with a groan, while I tumbled across asphalt, skin shredding like paper. Sirens again, but this time, I was the wreckage. Blurred faces, Jamie's mom sobbing thanks, Eli's rough hands steadying me as paramedics swarmed. You saved us, kid. Both of us. 2 lives. Her, the unwitting architect of Jamie's pain. Him, a stranger whose eyes held stories of roads less traveled. In the ER, morphine haze, Jamie burst in, face ashen, collapsing at my bedside. Alex. God, I thought. His kiss was fierce, tears salting our lips, Mom hovering with quiet pride. But as nurses stitched me up, a new face entered. Tall, silver-flecked hair, eyes like mine. Dad, early from his flight, drawn by Mom's frantic call. Dad's arrival was a collision of timelines, the past crashing into the fluorescent buzz of the hospital room like a wave against cliffs. He stood in the doorway, trench coat dripping rain, a leather satchel slung over one shoulder. Evidence of a life polished by Silicon Valley, not the Rust Belt grit of Elmwood. Alex, he said, voice thick as the humidity outside, stepping forward with hands outstretched like an offering. Son, I'm here. I stared, for drip beeping a metronome to my confusion, shoulder throbbing under fresh bandages. Jamie sat vigilant at my side, his thumb tracing circles on my palm. A silent I've got you. Mom lingered by the window, arms crossed, her silence louder than any accusation. The drifter, Eli, had been wheeled out earlier. Minor cuts, but his gruff OU1 hero echoed in my ears, a thread yet to unravel. You're really here. The words tasted like ash, years of resentment bubbling up. After the bridge, the rally, now this? What? Family reunion tour. He winced, pulling a chair close, the vinyl squeaking under his weight. Your mom told me everything. The courage, the love you found. His gaze flicked to Jamie, softening. I should have been there, for all of it. But I was running, Alex. From myself, from the pain I caused her. He nodded to Mom, who met his eyes with a nod. Forgiveness? Truce? I built walls in California. Partner Mark, whose family now. But you're the piece I left behind. The room thickened with unsaid elegies. Dad's youth in Elmwood, the shotgun wedding to Mom, the clandestine affairs that cracked their foundation. He spoke haltingly of his own bridge moments. Nights in dive bars, coming out to friends who vanished like smoke. I thought leaving would free you from that shame. Stupid, I know. But seeing you now, saving lives, loving fierce, it's like meeting the man I wish I'd become. Jamie squeezed my hand, his presence a bridge of his own. He's more than that, sir. He's everything. Dad smiled then, genuine, and for a flicker, I saw myself in him. Not the ghost, but the echo. Discharge came at dawn, the sky bruising purple over the hospital parking lot. Mom drove us home, Dad trailing in a rental Prius that screamed, outsider. Jamie's mom waited on our porch, face drawn but eyes clear. Thunderstorm passed. Alex, I owe you my life. And Jamie's told me things. About us. About church. Her voice quavered, clutching a Tupperware of cookies like a peace flag. I was blind, scared, but no more. Inside, over coffee that steamed like thawing ice, revelations poured. Her confession to the pastor, stepping down from deaconess duties to make room for grace. Jamie hugged her tight, tears flowing free, and I felt the betrayal sting dull. Not gone, but bandaged. But Tyler's shadow loomed. News rippled through town. His truck totaled, him airlifted with a concussion and broken ribs. No charges yet. Accident. They called it, but whispers of recklessness, of Hargrove's empire cracking under scrutiny. Dad, with his tech lawyer connections, offered quietly, I can help, if you want. Get the truth out. I hesitated, the hero's burden heavy. Not yet. Maybe. Talk first. The fair arrived like a bomb, Elmwood's annual explosion of cotton candy and Ferris wheels under strings of bulbs that mimicked stars. Dad stayed, bunking on our couch, his presence awkward but earnest, helping Mom grill burgers, trading baseball stories with me over lemonade. Jamie and I wandered the midway, hands swinging, winning a stuffed eagle at ring toss that he dubbed our mascot. Laughter came easy, romance in the midway's glow. A stolen kiss behind the funnel cake stand, sweet and fleeting. Eli appeared like a plot twist, materializing from the crowd with a six-pack and a grin scarred by life. Heard you were the talk of the fair, kid. Figured I'd buy the hero a beer root, anyway. We sat on hay bales by the livestock barns, the air rich with hay and manure, as he spun his yarn. A wanderer from Kentucky, gay in a world of straight roads, hitching to escape a family that had disowned him. That stall? Battery died. Your dive? Saved me from becoming roadkill. But it's more. You reminded me folks can still pull each other up. His eyes, crinkled at the corners, held a mirror to Dad's. Lost boys finding harbor. As fireworks cracked overhead, painting the sky in reds and golds, Eli leaned in. Ever think life's got hidden ties? Like, blood or not? The words itched, a puzzle piece hovering. Betrayal crested the next morning. Phone call shattering the idyll. Ramirez, Alex, Tyler's awake. Wants to see you. Alone. Mom protested. Dad's jaw set. But Jamie urged, go. End it right. The hospital room was sterile as regret. Tyler propped on pillows, face swollen like risen dough, eyes puffy slits. Rivera, he croaked, voice raw from tubes. You wrecked me. But, thanks for swerving. I stood rigid, arms crossed. Not here for thanks. Why? The bridge, the truck. What the hell, Tyler? He deflated, gaze dropping to the blanket's weave. Dad, the pressure scouts watching, college on the line. And you too, happy out. They ate at me, made me hate what I felt. The pause stretched, electric. I'm, like you, gay. Buried it deep. But seeing you save Ellis? Cracked something. Confession hit like the truck's grill. Betrayal inverted. Bully unmasked as brother in arms. Why hurt us, then? To feel less alone. Yeah. Simple, shattering. Sorry, don't cut it, I know. But, help me tell Dad? Before I chicken out. I nodded, throat tight, leaving him to the beeps and his unraveling. Outside, the sun mocked with cheer, but inside, empathy bloomed. A humanistic vine choking the weeds of hate. The threads of hidden bonds wove tighter in the fair's aftermath. Elmwood's dusty fields now a crossroads of reckonings. Dad and I took long walks along the river, the same waters that had nearly claimed Jamie, now murmuring like old confidants. He shared stories of his youth, cruising in hidden groves, the terror of discovery, and I unloaded mine. The loneliness, the bridge, the love that pulled me back. You gave me this, I told him one dusk, as fireflies ignited. The fight, even absent. Forgiveness wasn't a thunderclap. It was this, steps sinking on gravel paths, a hand on my shoulder steady as roots. Jamie's family mended in fits. His mom attending her first PFLAG meeting in Lafayette, her Bible now annotated with verses of radical love. I was afraid of losing you, she admitted over family dinner at our house. Lasagna redux, laughter tentative but real. But holding on too tight? That's the real loss. Jamie beamed, sketching her portrait on a napkin, capturing the lines of newfound peace. Tyler's unmasking rippled outward. I sat with him and Hargrove in the principal's office, the air thick as a confessional. Dad flanked me, a quiet bulwark. Tyler's voice trembled. Dad, I'm gay. And I hurt them because I hated myself for it. Hargrove blanched, trophies mocking from shelves. But then, arms enfolding his son, sobs shaking the man who'd built walls of denial. My boy, my brave boy, no lightning. Just a father crumbling into fatherhood anew. Charges dropped to counseling, but bridges built. Tyler joining GSA, his quarterback arm now tossing footballs and flyers. Eli lingered, crashing on our couch a spell, his drifter soul finding temporary dock. Over porch swings and porch lights, he revealed the twist that bound us all. That stalled car wasn't random. I was heading to find my brother, lost touch years back. Turns out he's Hargrove's groundskeeper at the school. Small world, huh? But deeper. DNA test kits from a fair booth, curiosity sparked, showed Eli and I shared a marker. Half-siblings. Dad's wandering youth leaving seeds sown in Kentucky winds. Hidden family, Eli grinned, clinking root beer bottles. The best kind, chosen twice over. Romance with Jamie crescendoed in autumn's amber. Leaves carpeting the bridge like confetti for our survival. We returned there one crisp October eve, the railing repaired, a plaque now etched. For those who reach back. Under a harvest moon he dropped to one knee. Not proposal but promise. Offering a sketch. Us entwined against the river's flow, titled Lifelines. Alex Rivera, you saved me. Let me spend forever saving you back. Our kiss sealed it, windswept and eternal. The world expanding beyond Elmwood's horizons. No tragedy, but a humanism hard one. Love as rebellion, family as mosaic, blood, chosen, mended. Dad returned west with Mark, promises of visits like stars guiding. Eli hitched onward, but texts pinged like lifelines. Tyler waved from the field, a nod of warriors past. Graduation dawned bright, caps sailing like freed dreams. I stood at the podium, salutatory and voice steady. We are not our falls, but our reaches. In this town of corn and courage, we've learned. Heroes aren't born ignored. They're forged in the fire of seeing each other. Jamie's eyes met mine from the front row, shining with pride, our bond the truest diploma. As we drove out, Mom's Taurus packed for Bloomington, where art and journalism converged. Hand in his, river shrinking in the rear view, I knew. The ignored boy had become legend, not in glory, but grace. 2 lives saved, bonds unveiled, a heart full enough for the road ahead.